So, welcome everyone to day 5 of 60 days, 60-minute challenge. So, we'll just go through. Mm, let's log in into the account. Enroll courses, continue learning. Today is day 5. We'll follow the same pattern as yesterday. We studied 4 topics. Today we'll move ahead. So, we discussed yesterday. Mic check 1, 2, 3. Hopefully, you have started practicing by now. You have at least completed Management Foundation, the first 3 units. So yes, last we were talking about humans relation management theory, how there is a bunch of theories combined together in this topic. First is the Hawthorne studies that happened around 1921, where workers' social and psychological motives were studied. Then came Abraham Maslow hierarchy of needs covered in a short pace here. It comes under organizational behavior, that what needs do humans have in general. These needs are listed here: physiological, which is also known as roti kapda makan, then safety, social belonging, esteem, self-actualization, and before completing one, human does not proceed to the other. So first you have to complete your physiological needs to move to safety. Then once these two are fulfilled, then you can think about social belonging, and up and up. Manager should create conditions that fulfill these needs, especially the social and esteem needs to boost motivation. Douglas McGregor, 19th 3XNY 1960. What we studied, there are two types of employees. One theory is theory X, which is bad, which is what that employees are lazy, not motivated. They will not do work unless you tell them to. So for them, you require an authoritative manager who can you know keep a tab on their work, and also give them orders what to do, what else, and everything. And there comes a theory world type of employees where they are self-motivated, hardworking, love to collaborate in groups. So for them you need a type of employee, a type of manager who facilitates the requirement for them. So where very little control is required. So yeah, that is the Douglas McGregor theory X and Y 1960. Theory X and Y is the name. Douglas McGregor would be the founder. We studied we need, for any theory we need 5 lines. First, name of the theory. Second, uh, name of the authors or founders. Third, which year it was founded or published or theorized. And fourth and fifth, 2 lines about the theory. And there are some other theories like maturity theory, participative management, integration, conflict, which we will not be covering. You can and we discussed that you have to read this on your own terms. That we have observed that in the exam these two terms are used interchangeably by UGC NET Management. So wherever they should human relations theory consider the same as behavioral. The difference being in human relations, it's more of like focus of improvement is employee satisfaction, group interaction, social context, whereas focus of improvement in behavioral approaches, motivation, leadership, understanding behavior. So yes, so this we had complete. So we'll go to Elton Mayo. So this is where we start our topics from today. And also, what we'll do today at the end, we'll go through all the topics just to see if we remember. We will try to finish management or telecommunication, and then we'll go through all the topics, describing everything in short. Okay. Elton May, an Australian psychologist and organizational theorist, laid the foundation of the human relations theory and behavioral approach. After conducting research at the Western Electric Hawthorne Works in Chicago between 1924 and 1932. The Horton studies were a series of experiments that investigated how different conditions affected worker productivity. They were carried out by researchers including Elton Mayo, Fritz, and William. So now key principles, we'll talk about the key principles for Hawthorne studies. Social needs over economic needs. Mayo argued that employees are just not motivated by money as classical management theories like Taylor believed, but by social needs such as feeling valued, being part of team, and having supportive relationships at work. Then second, informal groups. So first, just by apart from money, there are social needs of the employees that need to be fulfilled. Importance of informal groups. Informal group workplace groups significantly influence individual productivity. Peer relationships and group norms can encourage or discourage work performance. Third, attention increases productivity. When employees feel observed, involved, and cared for, mm, their performance improves. This phenomenon is known as Hawthorne effect, suggests that attention and interest from management increases worker output. So, if in general, this theory says if the employee knows that he's being observed in case of production line or in case of IT, if he's being tracked maybe in some way, although counterintuitive or not so much suitable. Tracking, because where will you stop tracking is important. You have to have a balance. Let's say if we talk about production line goods manufacturing, where do you stop observing? Like let's say you are the manager of the plant and your cabin is purposefully kept at a location in a plant from where you can see everybody and everybody can see you, let's say, and glass doors and shield little high up on the shop floor somewhere. So that will give the effect of you observing them, or they having the idea that okay, we would be observed. And let's say in case of IT services, okay, or in general services industry, where would you stop giving the impression to the user that he's being observed? Maybe you create a timesheet, let's say, where the user can fill it for the whole week in one shot, and you just ask the time and small one line about the work. Like for the whole day, you input this much work I did 8 hours and short description. Now, this is a boundary like you can make where okay, this will give the effect to the user that they are being observed. In some organizations do this. Other organizations, what they might do, they might track your movement in the laptop every second, like what you moved, where you moved, and they'll also track your keystrokes, and they'll calculate the metric that how much time was he actually working, how much time was it idle. So you see, this type of approach is also a type of approach where you're observing, but this is getting like too far, where it will in you are, as per me, you are intruding into the boundaries of your employees too much, and this will not have a good effect that the productivity will increase. Maybe it will, but uh, too much negative incentives of going in so far. So you have to establish a boundary where they can feel observed, involved, and cared for. Caring being the top priority here. The phenomenon known as Hawthorne effect suggests that attention and interest from management increases work output. So you should show that they are observed, involved, and cared for. But where you draw the line in observing them is very much important. Communication and participations. Open communication and allowing workers to participate in decision making improves morale and cooperation, leading to better performance. Yes, this should be done. Uh, in domains where the workers are have more grassroots level or real information about the scenario, what's happening and what can be improved, definitely their participation in decision making should be a factor. Supervisor role as social leader. Manager should not just direct tasks but also act as facilitators and leaders, showing concern for workers, just emotional and psychological for workers' emotional and psychological needs. This is also important. You are human, you are not a robot after all. Conclusion. Mayo concluded that social and psychological factors such as workers' sense of belonging, relationship with peers, managerial support were more influential in determining productivity than just physical working conditions or financial incentives. What he's saying, if they feel valued for, they feel cared for, and they believe in the cause that they're working, it's a great company. Let's say there is an employee. He has worked in different organization. He has come here. He likes what the company is making the product for. Or he likes the core values of the company. Feels a sense of belonging. He feels heard, and also he feels that the leaders are not like just looking after the numbers but caring for the employees. He will try to support that organization to the best of his ability. He will try to make sure it works. So just apart from working conditions or financial intentions, incentives, yes, social and psychological factors play a very important role too. My shifted the focus from scientific management to a more human-centered approach. His work laid the foundation of modern fields like organizational psychology, employee engagement, and HR management. Okay, so my stand. Next, we come to general system theories, 1960. Sorry. So we see from 1924-32, which jumped direct to 1968. Bertalanffy's system theory. I would say it would be something similar to everything works in a system and interdependency, something like that. Let's see. Ludwig von Bertalanffy, a biologist, developed general system theory in the 1940 to 60. It is a conceptual framework that views systems as organized as wholes made up of interrelated and interdependent parts. Bertalanffy's system theory was developed in 1940s and 50s and formalized in 1968 with general system theory. Core idea: instead of studying part of an organization or process in isolation, Bertalanffy argued we should understand how all parts interact and affect the whole system. His theory is general system theory. System, a system of interrelated components working together towards a common goal. Such as in an organization, we can see sales department, human resource department, production department, finance department, and other departments. System can be open, interacts with the environment, or closed. Whole, second, wholeness, holism. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Changing one part affects the entire system. Yes, this is important. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. This is what is called synergy. So, yeah, and this is if every department works for the betterment of the company and not for the betterment or metric of their individual department, definitely then the whole is always greater than the sum of its parts. So input, throughputs, outputs, input resources, information materials entering the system, process transformation of input into resulting product, services, or information. Sorry, I'll just mute my mic from next time I have cough, so that will be better. Yes. Feedback mechanism. Feedback allows system to self-regulate, learn, and adapt. Feedback mechanism is very much important. Equifinability. The system can reach the same end state through different parts of processes. There is no single best way to achieve the goal. So yeah, what is the system theory? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll just think about it. We'll just try to remember. First, we'll remember. Systems are interconnected parts. Second, wholeness. The whole is always greater than the sum of the parts if they act in tandem with each other. Then third is, let me see. Okay, input, throughput, output. Input, the resources that you entering the system. Throughput, the process it goes through the transformation of inputs and then comes the output. resulting product, services, or information. Next, feedback mechanism is very much important. Fourth, feedback mechanism very much important. And fifth, equifinability. A system can reach the same end state through different paths or process. There is no single way to achieve a goal. Uh, we'll go through again just to remember. What is the name? Okay. Ludwig von Bertalanffy, 1968, it was finalized the theory. General systems approach, it says, how does it say? It says the system as organized wholes made up of intended and interdependent parts. Okay, so first we'll start first with the system. A system is made up of interconnected different parts or domains. Second, the wholeness, which means the whole is always greater than the sum of its part. Third, input, process, output, input, throughput, output. Input, you input information or materials as inputs, and process transforms the input into products, services, or yeah, the third thing, information. Okay, so this is third. Fourth, there should be a feedback mechanism necessary to improve the process. And what is the fifth one? We'll remember this. Fourth is feedback mechanism is required. After feedback, what is done? We'll have to go through it again. Equifinability, a system can reach the same point in different ways. There is no set goal, single best way to achieve a goal. So we'll go through it again. Ludwig von Bertalanffy, General Systems Theory, 1968. He mentioned that the system works. Yeah, a system works as an amalgamation or a mixture of different parts working together. So system can be studied. The whole system can be studied as interrelated parts working together to create a value. So now we start with the five systems. The first is interconnectedness, that our system or a firm can contain a different domains or different domains which work together and are independent on dependent on each other. And the second is wholeness, that this whole is always greater than the sum of its part. The third is the input, throughput, and output. Input is you put the materials and information as input. Throughput, the process transforms the inputs into output. The output is in the form of products or information or services. Fourth is there should be a feedback mechanism, very much required to improve the process and to get a sense of what we are doing correct, what we are doing wrong. And fifth is equifinability, which means what does equifinability mean? Equifinability means you can achieve the same goal through different parts. There is no one correct way to achieve a goal, different parts. Yes. So that is, yeah, Bertalanffy system theory. Next, management jungle theory, 1961, Harold Kurtz. He will say that you know, so much theory has proposed that now there is so much overlap, you don't know nothing. There are not two, three, four. There are hundreds of theories that have been developed, and you know, there are so much overlap, so it has become a management jungle. That is what he'll say. The management jungle theory is a term coined by Harold Kuntz, a prominent management theorist, to describe the confusion and complexity surrounding the wide variety of management theories and approaches that emerged over time. Kuntz used this term to convey the idea that the field of management theory has become so diverse and fragmented and cluttered that it can be overwhelming for both practitioners and scholars to navigate and identify the best or most universally applicable theories. You understand, so many theories, so diverse, fragment cluttered that it can become overwhelming for both practitioners and scholars to navigate and identify the best or most universally applicable theories. In essence, the jungle refers to the disorganization and lack of consensus agreement, it means, within the field. Key points of management theory jungle: abundance of theories, too many theories. Management theory is made up of wide range of approach, models, and schools of thought, including scientific management, human relations, system theory, contingency theory. We have studied till system theory, if you remember. This was 1880s to 1920s, 1920s to 1940, 1950s, 1940s to 1970s. Each theory offers a different perspective on how organization should be managed with no single approach that fits all solution. This diversity leads to confusion for managers trying to determine which theory or approach to adopt in practice. Constant evolution and development. The field of management has constantly evolved with new theories emerging to address the changing needs and complexities of modern organization. The field of management has constantly evolved with new theories emerging to address the changing needs of complexities of modern organization. The field of management has constantly evolved with new theories emerging to address the changing needs and complexities of modern organization. Theories that were once considered groundbreaking have been critiqued and updated by later scholars. Integration of new ideas and critiques of old ones has led to the development of hybrid theories. Lack of consensus. There is no universal agreement among scholars and practitioners about which management theory is most effective. Theories can contradict each other, and different experts may advocate for different approaches based on their perspective of experience. For example, scientific management focuses on efficiency and task optimization, while human relations emphasizes employee welfare and motivation. These two perspectives may seem incompatible at times. Practical implication: managers can find it difficult to know which theory to apply in real situation. Organizations are complex and what works in one context might not work in another. Hence, there is contingency theory. Here they have mentioned contingencies like, भाई हम पहले से नहीं बता सकते क्या थियरी है, उस टाइम पे जो सिचुएशन होगी उस हिसाब से कोई थियरी अडॉप्ट करो. दैट इज व्हाट कंटिंजेंसी थियरी मीन्स. कंटिंजेंसी इज लाइक व्हाट इफ, ऑन द स्पॉट तुम्हें देखना है, पहले से तुमको नहीं पता है. So managers can find it difficult to know which theory to apply in real world situation. Organizations are complex and what works in one context might not work in another. This is talking about contingency. As a result, managers often have to blend or adapt various theories to suit the specific challenges they face, contributing to the notion of jungle. For instance, top-down centralized control may work for certain tasks or in specific industries, while in others, a participatory decentralized approach might be more effective. Next, theories that contribute to jungle theory. Classical management theories. We have studied scientific management, administrative Henry Fayol, bureaucratic Max Weber was 1921, Henry Fayol somewhere 1914-15 वर्ल्ड वॉर के दौरान. Behavioral and human theories आई, उसके बाद Hawthorne studies आई, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we have studied this. Quantitative and system theories आई, quantitative nearly in World War II आई, उसके बाद systems theory आई. Contingency and situational theories. Contingency theories, Juan Woodward, Fred Fleetler argues there is no one-size-fits-all approach. Situational leadership for this also you can go through. Right now we have just mentioned one about the modern and contemporary theories, total quality management and linear management and Six Sigma. White jungle. So one theory will focus on one aspect, the other. Scientific management focuses on efficiency and standardization of production, whereas contingency theory will tell you what if जैसा situation है वैसा करो. So you can see how the approaches are different and how they together there is no one theory which makes sense together. It's just like in physics, where in physics they have so many different equations for different formulas they have. Now they are trying how does it all make sense. They want to develop the ultimate equation, one equation which describes every equation. They are trying to do that. Similarly, the management jungle theory भी says the same on similar lines के भाई इतनी सारी थियरीज हो गई है, हर थियरी कोई डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट पे फोकस कर रही है कि एक पर्टिकुलर थियरी नहीं है जो सबको एनकम्पास कर पाए, सबको कवर कर पाए, या कोई एक ऐसी थियरी नहीं है जो एक्सप्लेन कर पाए हमें कि हाउ दे ऑल टुगेदर मेक्स सेंस. ओके. So that is what is the jungle theory by Harold. So yeah, Harold Kuntz. Jungle theory in 1961, when all these theories were developed since the last 100 years for them. So we mark this as complete. So today we are going at a good pace. Next, so we have officially completed the management foundation theories. But now we come to management functions, planning, controlling. Let's see the syllabus. So this we have completed management concept process theories, or in general theories were so many we covered this. Now we cover functions, planning, organizing, staffing, coordinating, controlling. So yeah, just we will do a recap of the five functions. Planning, we discussed what was Henry Fayol 1916's some book he published in which he published these two principles. One is five functions of management, which includes planning, organizing, coordinating. Last, see, we forgot planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, controlling. Commanding, coordinating, controlling. Planning, you need to make out the plan, define the strategies, what is are the resources required, organizing, bring the team together. Third, commanding, initial hiccups, help them through it by commanding what to do, what not to do. Once everyone sets in. Number four is coordinating. You don't need to interfere now. They can work together in synergy. You just uh, do less control, more cruise control as a manager. Number five, controlling involves monitoring and evaluation and feedback. So let's see here. Planning, controlling is last in the function of executive. So you have received management function. Planning is the first part, controlling is the last part, and the functions of the executive. Just about 1938. We'll see that too. So we go to planning. Planning is the first and fundamental function of management. It involves setting objectives and deciding in advance the appropriate actions needed to achieve those objectives. It is goal-oriented planning, according to Kuhn. So Donald defined planning as in deciding in advance what to do, how to do, when to do, who is to do it. Importance of planning directions provides direction to all managerial activities, reduces risk and uncertainties, facilitates coordination between departments, ensures optimum use of resources, helps in setting performance standards. Planning premises. Planning premises are the assumption about the future on which planning is based. Type of planning premises. These can be internal premises. Policies, resources, organization. Planning premise are the assumption about the future on which planning is based. Remember, this is important because I have tough time remembering this. Yeah. Planning premises are the assumptions. The all the different topics we went through, all those topics would be familiar if you study bachelor's or master's, or somewhat you can understand. Now this is going deeper, which might not be this question is a little deep based on one theory, so that is why we have to study, because it's not covered. It might not be covered in the general syllabus of the people unless you go through the recommended books during your bachelor's or manage masters and have read it. So yeah, we'll just read it in a little detail. Planning premise are the assumptions about the future on which planning is based. These can be types of planning. Internal premise. Policies, resource organization capabilities, external premises, market trends, government regulations, inflation, controllable premise, policies within control of the organization, uncontrollable premise, economic changes, natural disasters, tangible premise, capital, labor, equipment, intangible premise, moral, brand reputation. To create realistic and achievable plans that align with expected future conditions. Process of planning. Steps in planning. Establishing objective, developing planning premises, identifying alternative course of action, evaluating alternatives, selecting the best alternative, formulating derivative plan, implementing the plan, monitoring and follow up. First, let's study difference between planning and forecasting. Planning, deciding what actions to take. Forecasting, predicting future conditions. Oh, planning is deciding what I need to do. Forecasting is what will happen. Based on planning is based on forecast. It is a managerial function. Forecasting is based on data trends analysis, and it is based on input to planning involves choosing among alternatives. Forecasting and involves anticipating possible outcomes. Planning premise input. Forecast as outcome of planning. Used before planning to build realistic plan. Planning premises used are generated after planning based on selected strategies. Planning premise input acts as assumption for the environment in which the plan will work. Our projections, the output, forecast output. Oof. So we are talking about difference between planning and forecasting. So वो थोड़ा डिस्कस हुआ है इधर. First is the general one, planning versus forecasting. Okay. प्लानिंग यहाँ मतलब है कि एक मैनेजमेंट डिसाइड करी कंपनी कैसे आगे बढ़ाना है, वो प्लानिंग बोली जाएगी. फोरकास्टिंग स्पेसिफिकली इज लाइक प्रोडक्शन डिपार्टमेंट यूजिंग डिमांड प्लानिंग और सप्लाई प्लानिंग डिसाइड कर रहा है कि फोरकास्ट में कितना नीड्स होगा प्रोडक्ट्स का. सो प्लानिंग प्रीमाइस जो हमने ऊपर देखा कि ये टाइप्स ऑफ प्लानिंग प्रीमाइसेस, वो बोल रहा है कि प्लानिंग के पहले ये सब यूज़ किया जाता है टू बिल्ड रियलिस्टिक प्लान्स. और जो आउटकम एक बार डिसाइड हो जाता है कि भाई ओके, तो कैसा होता है डिसीजन में. प्लानिंग प्रीमाइस इज एज इनपुट. प्लानिंग में तुम क्या डिसाइड करो, क्या एक्शन लेना है, तो उसके लिए तुम सारे ऑप्शंस देखते हो. फिर वो जब एक्शंस तुम ले लेते हो तो तुम गेस करते हो कि आउटपुट क्या होगा इसका, अल्टीमेट आउटकम, तो वो हो जाता है फोरकास्ट आउटपुट एज आउटकम्स ऑफ प्लानिंग. दैट्स हाउ दे बोथ आर डिफरेंट. और ये क्या है, इस्टेब्लिशिंग, पहले ऑब्जेक्टिव इस्टेब्लिश करो. फिर फर्स्ट यू इस्टेब्लिश द ऑब्जेक्टिव करो. फर्स्ट ऑब्जेक्टिव इस्टेब्लिश करो. सेकंड, डेवलप प्लानिंग का प्रीमाइस. आइडेंटिफाई एंड एनालाइज assumption forecast future conditions. जो प्लानिंग प्रीमाइस हमने देखा एज इनपुट एंड देन डिसाइडिंग एंड देन कंसिडरिंग कि ये आउट फोरकास्ट हो सकता है, वो करो. आइडेंटिफाई करेक्टिव कोर्स ऑफ एक्शन टू अचीव योर डिजायर्ड ऑब्जेक्टिव. ठीक है. फोर्थ, इवेल्युएट करो ऑल्टरनेटिव्स को. सिलेक्ट द बेस्ट ऑल्टरनेटिव्स. ओके. Formulate derivative plans. Develop sub plans to support the main plan. Implement the plan. Monitoring. Okay, बहुत सिंपल है. ओके. हाउ इट ऑल कनेक्ट्स टुगेदर. सपोज ये बात कर रहे हैं कि मैनेजमेंट को डिसीजन लेना है. तो मैनेजमेंट जब भी डिसीजन लेगा उसके पहले प्लानिंग करेगा. उसका क्या मतलब है, सारे ऑप्शंस ऑल्टरनेटिव्स इवेल्युएट करके फिर एक डिसीजन लेगा कि हम ऐसा करेंगे. तो उसके बाद वो बोलेगा कि ऐसा करने से हम ये करेंगे तो एक्स होगा. तो एक्स फोरकास्ट बन जाता है. और प्लानिंग प्रीमाइस जो भी उनके पास सारे ऑल्टरनेटिव थे उसमें से उन्होंने जो अडॉप्ट करके लिया है वो इनपुट बन जाता है. ओके. तो यही चीज़ कैसा कनेक्ट होती है. स्टेप्स इन प्लानिंग बहुत सिंपल है. पहले तुम एक ऑब्जेक्टिव इस्टेब्लिश करते हो. मुझे महीने के 1000 प्रोडक्ट्स मैन्युफैक्चर करने हैं. फर्स्ट. सेकंड, डेवलपिंग प्लानिंग प्रीमाइस के किस तरीकों से मैं कर सकता हूँ. ओके. कंट्रोलेबल प्रीमाइस, अनकंट्रोलेबल प्रीमाइस, किससे मैं ये इन्फ्लुएंस कर सकता हूँ. एग्जाम्पल. सो मेरे मेरे केस में टेंजिबल प्रीमाइसेस हो गया, कैपिटल, लेबर, इक्विपमेंट. ठीक है. और पॉलिसीज, इंटरनल प्रीमाइस होगा, पॉलिसीज, रिसोर्स. तो मैंने आइडेंटिफाई कर लिया कि ये प्लानिंग प्रीमाइस है जिससे मैं कंट्रोल कर सकता हूँ. नाउ मैं ऑल्टरनेटिव्स देखते हैं और क्या क्या ऑल्टरनेटिव से कंट्रोल कर सकता हूँ. एक इससे कंट्रोल कर सकता हूँ. एक इंटरनल प्रीमाइस से कंट्रोल कर सकता हूँ कि भाई मैं पॉलिसी, रिसोर्स, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कैपेबिलिटीज पे फोकस करूँ. मैं कैपिटल, लेबर, इक्विपमेंट पे फोकस कर सकता हूँ. कंट्रोल पॉलिसीज विद इन द कंट्रोल ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इसमें कर सकता हूँ. अभी इसमें से मैंने चूज किया सपोज कि मैं पॉलिसीज, रिसोर्सेज, इंटरनल, ये पहला वाला चूज किया. फिर मैं ऑप्शनल देखूंगा क्या ऑप्शन है. डेवलप ऑल्टरनेटिव्स, कंट्रोलेबल है, टेंजिबल है, इन सबको मैं इवेल्युएट करूंगा. फिर और इवेल्युएट करने के बाद मैं इसको सेलेक्ट करूंगा. फिर मैं इसको इम्प्लीमेंट करूंगा. इम्प्लीमेंट के बाद मैं देखूंगा कि फीडबैक लूंगा कि सही से इम्प्लीमेंट हुआ है कि नहीं. और इसमें ये प्लान अगर सिलेक्ट कर रहा हूँ मैं कि कैपिटल, लेबर, इक्विपमेंट यूज़ करूँगा, तो कैसे यूज़ करूँगा. डेवलप डेरिवेटिव प्लान. और उसके बाद वो प्लान इंप्लीमेंट करूँगा और मॉनिटरिंग और फॉलो अप करूँगा. ऐसा दैट्स हाउ इट ऑल मेक सेंस. सो थोड़ा एनी क्वेश्चंस, कमेंट्स में क्वेश्चंस. रिक्वायरमेंट्स फॉर इफेक्टिव कंट्रोल एज प्रपोज्ड बाय कूड्स एंड वाह. अरे यहाँ भी कूड्स डोनाल्ड था. आई नो आई एम बुचरिंग इट बट मैं, इट्स फाइन. Effective control is essential for ensuring that organization activities proceed as planned and contribute towards the achievement of goals. For a control system to be meaningful and functional, it must be thoughtfully designed according to certain well-established principles. Kuntz and Wahri Google speech use करते हैं. Let's say
Kuntz and Weirich. Kuntz and Weirich.
that they outline specific requirements that make control systems more reliable, relevant, and efficient. Seeking objectivity control, ensuring control. Okay, so there are 4 points in effective control. And what is control? We studied here. Controlling involves monitoring and evaluating the progress towards the goal, ensuring everything is in track. It helps to identify any deviation from the plan and make it possible for corrective action. A manager reviews financial statements to ensure the company is meeting its budget and takes corrective action if expenses exceeds projection. So we go to controlling. Yes, yeah, this is better. Control systems seeking objectivity of control. Control systems must be objective, not subjective. This means that performance measurement should be quantifiable, observable, and verifiable. Controls based on vague or personal judgments can lead to confusion and inconsistency. Example, measuring productivity by units produced per hour is objective, whereas judging work effort without data is subjective. So yeah, seeking objectivity of controls, ensuring control points highlight exceptions as critical areas. This is important. An effective control system should follow the exception principle. It should highlight significant deviations from expected performances, especially at critical points. This helps managers focus their attention and resources where corrective action is needed. Example, if the production drops by more than 10%, an automatic alert is triggered to address the issue. Fitting the control system to the organization culture. Very important, very important than this, important than this, important. Control mechanisms must be compatible with the values, beliefs, and norms of organizations. If the control system conflicts with the existing culture, employees may resist or ignore it, making it ineffective. Meaning, in a highly autonomous work culture, rigid micromanagement based control systems might face pushback. Fitting the control system to the organization culture. Control mechanisms must be compatible with the values, beliefs, and norms of the organization. If the control system conflicts with existing culture, employees may resist or ignore it, making it ineffective. Tailoring controls to individual managers. No two managers operate the same way. Effective control system must be customized to match the roles, responsibility, working style of different managers. This personal fit enhances usability and acceptance. A frontline operations manager may need real-time dashboards, while a senior executive may prefer monthly startups. So what we have learned for effective control, we read 4 parts. First, control should be objective. Second, should have control points that highlight exceptions as critical areas that can be focused. Third, fitting the control system to the organizational culture. And fourth, tailoring controls to individual managers. So we'll go next, function of the executive. Chester Barnard was an influential American executive and management theorist, best known for his contributions to organizational theory and management. His most significant work, The Function of the Executive, laid the foundation of much of modern management theory. He introduced key concepts that impacted the field. Theory of cooperation. He said there should be cooperation between organizations working towards a common goal. Again, this is like in planning the wholeness part where this total whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Systematic approach to management, uh, interdependent parts. Okay, this is the first part of this is the first part of this theory as well. General theory, Ludwig. 2 points match with him more or less. Decision making. Bernard emphasized that effective decision making by managers is central to organizational success. In operation management, decision regarding resource allocation on production scheduling and inventory control and influence. Communication. He identified communication as a crucial function in management for operation managers. Clear communication ensures that processes are understood, roles are defined, and goals are aligned, which leads to more effective operations. Okay. So today, 40 minutes, we have covered a lot. We covered it. Just our banana market is complete. Yes. We have got 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 topics. Out of I believe it is 83. Okay. This will continue with tomorrow. Compared to last today, we have made great progress. So now we'll practice. Practice is important. Ultimate quiz. Essential condition for price discrimination practice to succeed in different markets. Uh, So essential condition for price discrimination practice. Price discrimination practice, I believe, is selling at different price to different customers group. So I would say इसके लिए definitely टू होगा कि some control होना चाहिए price of the product पे. अगर monopolies हुआ या तो monopolistic competition हुआ तो possible है. Perfectly competitive market हुआ तो very कुछ control ही नहीं है तुम्हारा price के ऊपर. So to control price discrimination, yes, firms must have some control over the price of the product. Price elasticity of demand must differ in different products. Yes. What is price elasticity of demand के डिपेंडिंग मैं प्राइस इंक्रीज या डिक्रीज करूँ डिमांड में चेंज आना चाहिए. ये इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि हम डिफरेंट प्राइस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन करने वाले हैं. हम डिफरेंट कस्टमर्स को डिफरेंट प्राइस चार्ज करने वाले हैं. इसका मतलब अगर एक लेट्स से आईफोन्स की बात ले लेते हैं. एज इंडिया में एज पर द यूट्यूब वीडियो आई सॉ रिसेंटली you six more than 60 I would say percent, around 80 per 75% or less iPhones are brought from 18 to 24, 24 to 35, 18 to 35 की रेंज वाले खरीदते हैं आईफोन. इंडिया में टेक्निकली बच्चों को आईफोन मोबाइल्स पहले ही मिल जाते हैं 13 14, बट वो भी कैसा होता है कि बड़े लोग ही खरीद के देते हैं. सो मे बी दैट स्टेटिस्टिक इज तो जो 14 टू 18 रेंज वाला है वो भी मे बी इसमें आ जाते हैं 18 टू 35 में, क्योंकि 18 टू 30 लेट्स से 24 टू 35 में आते होंगे बिकॉज दैट इज द रेंज वेयर पीपल अर्न इनफ दैट दे कैन गिफ्ट अदर पीपल आईफोन्स. सो ले और या टॉप में भी आते होंगे बट मे बी दे आर बाइंग फॉर देयर चिल्ड्रन. सो यू वन थिंग तो क्लियर होती है सभी में से कि 18 टू 35 आर द बिगेस्ट ग्रुप जो आईफोन्स खरीदते हैं. तो आईफोन डजंट डू दिस बट इट कैन हैपन कि दिस ग्रुप लाइक्स आईफोन सो मच टेक्निकली वो ईएमआईज पे ले रहे हैं. व्हाट इट मींस ओवरऑल, चलो आईफोन को एक्स्ट्रा पैसे नहीं मिले, 1 लाख का आईफोन है कंसिडर. 18 to 35 वाले पहली बात मेजर एज ग्रुप है और बाकी लेट्स से 20% ऑफ द एज ग्रुप इज फ्रॉम 35 to 60 हु बाई इट. ओके. अभी जो 18 टू 24 वाले बाई कर रहे हैं, जो टोटल 18 टू 35 के रेंज में दो रेंज है, 18 to 24, 24 to 35, these two groups make up for more than 75% or less, like they make up the ओनर्स ऑफ आईफोन. ओके, माई क्वेश्चन इज 18 to 24 क्या इतना इंडिया में कमा रहा होगा जो 1 लाख, और 1 लाख तो मैं आईफोन की बात कर रहा हूँ, आईफोन प्रो और सब उसके ऊपर है, 1.5 2 लाख. क्या वो इतना कमा रहा होगा कि वो 1 लाख का आईफोन ले सकते हैं? नहीं, तो मोस्ट प्रोबेबली वो ईएमआई पे ले रहा होगा. ईएमआई पे ले रहा होगा तो 1 लाख के 1,10,000 1,20,000 पे करने को तैयार होगा. सो यू सी, आईफोन ऐसे एक कर सकता है, आईफोन ऐसा मार्केट में स्ट्रैटेजी ला सकता है कि ही चार्जेस डिफरेंट सेक्शंस को डिफरेंट प्राइसिंग, बट वो मार्केट्स टोटली अलग होना चाहिए, एक दूसरे को पता नहीं होना चाहिए. बिकॉज लेट्स से वो प्राइस इलास्टिसिटी, वो ऐसा प्राइस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन किया उसने कि 18 to 35 को 1 लाख चार्ज कर, 1,50,000 चार्ज करेगा, 35 to 60 को 1 लाख ही चार्ज करेगा, 1.5 लाख नहीं चार्ज करेगा. तो क्या होगा, 35 to 60 वाले खरीद के देंगे. तो प्राइस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन में एक और चीज़ इंपॉर्टेंट होता है कि मार्केट्स फॉर द प्रोडक्ट शुड बी सेपरेबल, मस्ट बी सेपरेबल. दैट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट. और प्राइस इलास्टिसिटी होनी चाहिए, इसलिए तुम दो डिफरेंट प्राइस चार्ज कर सकते हो दो डिफरेंट ग्रुप को. तो डिफरेंशिएट प्रोडक्ट्स स्ट्रॉन्ग, ये मुझे पता नहीं है. फर्म्स मस्ट हैव स्ट्रॉन्ग इंटरडिपेंडेंस, पता नहीं, समझ में नहीं आ रहा है मुझे. 2 4 5 तो पक्का होना चाहिए, 2 4 5, एंड इट इज़ द राइट आंसर. यूसी यूजीसी नेट में थोड़ा आसानी इसलिए होती है क्योंकि मल्टीपल ऑप्शंस होते हैं, तो यू नो, और क्वेश्चंस थोड़े इजी होते हैं, तो यू कैन से कि ये तो पक्का सही होगा, ये तो पक्का गलत होगा, उसके हिसाब से यू कैन एवेल्युएट द ऑप्शंस. यू डू नॉट नीड टू नो परफेक्टली. ओके, रीड द फॉलोइंग पैसेज केयरफुली एंड आंसर द क्वेश्चन. पहले हम क्वेश्चन पढ़ते हैं. व्हाट इज द ट्रिपल बॉटल लाइन अप्रोच इन सीएसआर मेंशन्ड इन द प्रॉफिट? फोकस ऑन कस्टमर satisfaction, revenue and profit, focus on reducing cost, increasing production market share, focus on shareholder interest, environmental sustainability and innovation, focus on people, earth, planet. Let's see. The OEC company focuses on 3 P's: people, planet and profit. ये भी हो गया. Let's go next. Arrange the following historical events in operation of management, operations management in the order of sequence starting from oldest to newest. हमने डिस्कस किया था ये लास्ट, पिछली बार का रिपीट क्वेश्चन है. इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन सबसे पहले आएगा, विच इज सी ई, और सबसे लास्ट आएगा ए, क्वालिटी रेवोल्यूशन. यू सी, दैट इज व्हाट हैपेंस. क्वेश्चंस के थ्रू तुम अगेन अगेन जाओ, थोड़ा थोड़ा आइडिया मिलने लगता है. ये लास्ट पूछा था, मुझे पता है. नाउ थिंक देर आर सिर्फ 100 150 क्वेश्चंस है एक टॉपिक पे, तुमने सब कर लिया, एंड तुम्हारे पास एक थियरी भी है कोर्स के फॉर्म में. हाउ इजी इट बिकम्स. which of the following statement pertains to indifference curve is true? Two indifferent curves intersect each other in a perfectly complementary goods. Uh, okay, this we haven't studied, so I just say it in high level so that तुम्हारे दिमाग में वो रहे थियरी, तो जब हम पढ़ेंगे तभी भी फायदा होगा. इट डजंट बिकम फॉरेन. इंडिफरेंट कर्व्स नेवर इंटरसेक्ट ईच अदर. जो यूटिलिटी कर्व होता है वो हो सकता है परफेक्टली कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री गुड्स के टर्म्स में इंटरसेक्ट करे, बट इंडिफरेंस कर्व कभी नहीं करता है. तो सी तो आंसर में है ही नहीं, ये भी नहीं है, बी तो है ही नहीं, ऑप्शन सेकंड तो है ही नहीं. Indifferent curves intersect each other at their midpoint, ये भी false है. Indifference curves never intersect each other, never. So C is wrong, D is wrong, C is wrong, D is wrong, D is wrong. A B या A E है, A दोनों में है, तो या तो B या E से हमें आंसर मिलेगा अगर इन दोनों में से एक के बारे में हमें पता है. Indifference curve in case of perfect substitute is a straight line with a positive slope. This is correct, but slope ऐसी जाती है. This is a negative slope. Positive is increasing as you move away from x. तो ये परफेक्ट सब्स्टिट्यूट सही है, स्ट्रेट लाइन बनाता है, बट नेगेटिव स्लोप बनाता है, पॉजिटिव नहीं बनाता है. सो बी इज रॉन्ग, सो आई विल गो विथ ए एंड ई. So that is how you solve the questions. Eliminate. Use little information you have to find out the correct answer. Elimination, selection, and then evaluation. For which of the following types of good does the demand increase rapidly with increase in consumer income but slows down with further increase in income? लग्जरी गुड्स नहीं, इनका डिमांड बहुत बढ़ता है पैसों के साथ. कैसे तुम अमीर होते जा रहे हो, या गेटिंग मोर वेल्दी मोर वेल्दी मोर वेल्दी, तुम अच्छा घर खरीदोगे, अच्छी गाड़ी खरीदोगे, अच्छा फर्नीचर खरीदोगे, अच्छा खाना खरीदोगे, अच्छा दूसरी चीज़ें खरीदोगे, शूज़, क्लोथ्स खरीदोगे, तुम्हारा स्टैंडर्ड कभी इंक्रीज वो रुक नहीं सकता, उस वो चलते जाएगा। तो सेकंड तो नहीं है। एसेंशियल कंज्यूमर गुड्स, इंफीरियर गुड्स तो है नहीं, वो इंफीरियर है, वो सीधा इनकम इंक्रीज होगी लोग बंद कर देते हैं। ये बोल रहा है पहले इंक्रीज होना चाहिए फिर नॉर्मलाइज होना चाहिए। या तो नॉर्मल गुड्स है या एसेंशियल कंज्यूमर गुड्स है। आई एम सेइंग वन ऑफ दीज, मे बी आई माइट बी रॉन्ग, इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन दीज टू। एसेंशियल कंज्यूमर गुड्स जो एसेंशियल है, तुम एसेंशियल तो वैसे भी बाय करते होगे, तो आई वुड से नॉर्मल गुड्स पहले इंक्रीज होगा फिर नॉर्मल होगा। नॉर्मली तुम जो खाते हो पीते हो, आई वुड गो विथ नॉर्मल। हो सकता है एसेंशियल हो यूजीसी नेट के हिसाब से, आई एम जस्ट गोइंग फॉर नॉर्मल एंड इट इज नॉर्मल गुड्स। लेट्स गो, वी हैव 1 minute लास्ट क्वेश्चंस के लिए, सो विल डू इट। साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट इज ऑल्सो नोन एज, ये हमने स्टडी किया है टेक्निकली, टेलरिज्म, फंक्शनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, मैनेजरियल रैशनलाइजेशन, फयोलिज्म। सो सी, अभी तक हमने पूरा थियरी स्टडी की। तुमने कहीं फंक्शनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन थियरी सुनी, मैनेजरियल रैशनलिज्म थियरी सुनी? नहीं। टेलरिज्म हो सकता है, हालांकि इन्होंने उसी को डिस्क्राइब किया, ये केस स्टडी के फॉर्म में था। एंड फयोलिज्म, फयोलिज्म क्या हो सकता है? हेनरी फयोल, 14 प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ मैनेजमेंट या 5 फंक्शंस ऑफ मैनेजमेंट। तो टेलरिज्म बचा। टेलरिज्म क्या था? साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट फादर, उसको पहले से फादर ऑफ मैनेज साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट बोलते हैं। साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट ऑल्सो नोन एज टेलरिज्म, एज पायनियर फ्रेडरिक विंस्लो टेलर। हमें मिल गया, यही आंसर होता। लास्ट वाला आई विल डू इट ऑन माय लास्ट 30 सेकंड्स, आई विल ट्राई टू फोकस। 5 सेकंड तो सिर्फ चेंज करने में लगाता है। प्लानिंग प्रीमाइसेस भी हमने पढ़ा था, जो एंटिसिपेटेड एनवायरनमेंट इन विच प्लान्स आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू ऑपरेट, दे इंक्लूड assumptions ऑफ फोरकास्ट ऑफ द फ्यूचर एज नो डिस्टिंक्शन शुड बी ड्रॉन बिटवीन फॉर द प्लान एंड फोरकास्ट। ये तो गलत है, नो डिस्टिंक्शन शुड बी ड्रॉन बिटवीन फोरकास्ट एंड ये। मे बी वन स्टेटमेंट वन इज करेक्ट। ओह यस, सी। so that's all, let's see। आज प्लानिंग प्रीमाइस हमने पढ़ा, वो क्वेश्चन भी आया एग्जाम में, और वो दूसरा जो हमने कल देखा था इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन का थियरी। सो दैट इज गुड। सो हमें 10 में से 7 मिल पाए। So we have more 10 minutes to go. Again, we'll practice it one more time. Let's go. Uh, CSR is a holistic approach and integrated management concept where companies integrate the industrial and future objective in the business. In this modern digital world, businesses are required to be mindful both in terms of what they're doing, how they are doing it. So we read this: in this modern digitalized world, businesses are required to be mindful of both in terms of what they are doing and how they are doing it. So this is true. The company's brand is not just dependent on the quality of products they're offering to people, but on the overall impact of company's operation, society, environment. The sense of social responsibility provides them with a competitive edge over their competitors. CSR is a holistic and integrated management concept where companies integrate the social and environmental objective with their business objective. The industrial future with the business. No, so see, यहाँ पे पूरा स्टेटमेंट चाहिए। अगर ये खुद के टर्म्स में एक्सप्लेन करता तो हम खुद के टर्म्स में लेते। इसने डिट्टो वर्ड फॉर वर्ड सेम यूज़ किया और सिर्फ थोड़े वर्ड्स चेंज किया। इंडस्ट्रियल एंड फ्यूचर ऑब्जेक्टिव को चेंज किया, इधर सोशल एंड एनवायरमेंटल को। सो वी विल नॉट कंसिडर दिस। अगर खुद के वर्ड्स में एक्सप्लेन करता है एंड इट मींट दिस, तो अलग बात होती। और सेकेंड टू डिट्टो इसने कॉपी किया है। टेक्निकली कितना आसान है, यू डोंट हैव टू थिंक, जस्ट सही है कि गलत पढ़ के एक पैसेज में से पढ़ा बताना है। So statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is incorrect. Oh, statement 1 is incorrect. Our bad. थोड़ा फास्ट में हमने, ऐसा भी होता है एग्जाम में। यू सी, यू नो द करेक्ट आंसर इज ए, रॉन्ग इज बी, बट यू मार्क इट द ऑपोजिट वे। दिस कैन हैपन टू। Let's go again. How does corporate governance helps in exposing unethical practices or mismanagement in a company? By encouraging accounting jugglery. रॉन्ग लगता है ना, अकाउंटिंग जगलरी मतलब यहाँ का वहाँ हेर फेर बदल करो। इससे एक्सपोज कैसा करेगी? ये तो प्रमोट कर रहे हैं मिसमैनेजमेंट, तो ये नहीं हो सकता। बाय प्रमोटिंग द कंपनीज फ्लैगशिप ब्रांड डजंट मेक एनी सेंस। उससे एक्सपोज केस होगा अनएथिकल प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ मिसमैनेजमेंट। बाय एनहेंसिंग एम्प्लॉय प्रोडक्टिविटी, तो मिसमैनेजमेंट और अनएथिकल पॉलिसीज कम होना चाहिए। दिस इज अ पॉजिटिव इफेक्ट और पॉजिटिव स्टेप इन अ पॉजिटिव डायरेक्शन। बाय फिक्सिंग रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज एंड प्रमोटिंग ओपननेस। बी, I would say B है. We'll see. Introduction of corporate governance in a company brings order and methods in decision making and fixes who should own the responsibility. The company will focus on its mission vision and not any personal like or dislike or for few top officers. The benefits of corporate governance are difficult to quantify. Accounting jugglery and showing profits gives a company short-term gains, but they are not long-term policies for financial credibility. True financial performance of a company openness and governance policies give investors confidence. The unethical policies of mismanagement by the CEO or director of a company will be exposed by adhering to corporate governance principles. Corporate governance will throw light on excessive remuneration direction given the CEOs, it improves. The occurrence of fraud and mismanagement can be detected early. It is agreed that no system can remove fraudulent practices fully. Corporate governance is open and democratic system. They may appear long. Direct answer भी कहीं दिखाने और I might miss that, so I will go with second. जनरली एग्जाम में 5 क्वेश्चंस बेस्ड ऑन पैसेज एक साथ आएंगे सो इट विल टेक यू लेस टाइम टू सॉल्व ऑल द 5 क्वेश्चंस. यहाँ इंडिविजुअल पैसेज आ रहा है, एक एक क्वेश्चन आ रहा है तो 2-2 मिनट लग रही है. एग्जाम में जब 5 क्वेश्चंस एक साथ आएंगे सो इट विल बी बेटर फॉर यू. यू सी विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज नॉट रिलेटेड टू ओलिगोपोली मार्केट, हमने ये देख चुके हैं. तो we will select Hall and H. Paul's we discussed this. We will cover this later. So for now, I'm marking the answer JK Gabriel क्योंकि August Carnot cycle है, Hall H और Paul Sweeney का भी cycles है which are present. Essential condition for price discrimination ये हमने अब भी देखा था. Firms must have control over the price of the product uh, and price 245 था है ना. So see that is a condition. Price elasticity and market for the products. Which one of the following measures measure better explain inflation in economic sense? Oh, economic sense पे consumer price index, प्राइसेस कितने इंक्रीज हो गए चीज़ों के, होलसेल प्राइस इंडेक्स, जीएनपी डिफ्लेटर होता है. आइदर इट इज जीएनपी डिफ्लेटर इकोनॉमिक सिस्टम्स क्योंकि ये कंज्यूमर होलसेल प्राइस या मैक इकोनॉमिक सिस्टम के अंदर ही इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे एक्सप्लेन करें कि कंज्यूमर को कितना प्राइस इंक्रीज हो गया या मैन्युफैक्चर या सेलर को कितना प्राइस होलसेल में प्राइस इंक्रीज हो गया. ओवरऑल जीएनपी डिफ्लेटर या रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ जीएनपी डिफ्लेटर होगा. जीएनपी डिफ्लेटर आई बिलीव टर्म होगा और उसका जो रेट ऑफ चेंज है उससे अंडरस्टैंडिंग या इन्फ्रेंस या तुम डिराइव कर सकते हो कंक्लूजन. सो आई विल गो रेट ऑफ चेंज इन जीएनपी डिफ्लेटर. ऑल्सो अगर तुम्हें ये पढ़ के नहीं समझ में आ रहा है कि इसने ऐसे 4 में से ये कैसे किया, डोंट वरी. विद प्रैक्टिस बाय थियोरी बाय क्वेश्चन सीइंग तुम्हें भी आ जाएगा. दैट इज द थिंग. फर्स्ट टाइम में नहीं आया, नो बिग डील. You just have to give your best in that time. One theory, one tip I will give you. Okay, I'll give you this tip at the last. How does the passage describe corporate governance as a system? ये हमने अब भी पढ़ा था. कैसे removing 100% fraudulent activities? No, this is false with the help of this. Hindering the risk of fraud. An open democratic system is some time ensuring but effective nahi. Corporate governance is time ensuring. Order and method fixes on responsibility. One तो नहीं है. Either I see B or 3 है, but passage describes as a whole system. I would go with 3. 2 भी सही हो सकता है, but पूरे system को ये describe कर रहा है. It's only 5 minutes. बाकी है, let's go first. Which of the following approach of decision making a manager picks up the course of action that is satisfactory or good enough? Bounded rationality, I would say. क्योंकि बाउंडेड रैशनैलिटी में होता है कि यही होता है कि कोर्स ऑफ एक्शन लेते हैं जज इज जस्ट गुड इनफ. यू आर नॉट गोइंग फॉर द आइडियल सिनेरियो. जैसे लेकर ऐसे 1 extra % ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट कॉस्ट 2% ऑफ डोमेस्टिक मिजरी इंडेक्स है. फिलिप्स कप भी नहीं. सैक्रिफाइस एक्स्ट्रा परसेंट अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट causes 2% of gross domestic product. सो ये बाकी सब आप देख रहे हो, रेशियोज है, इंडेक्स है, कर्व है, ये लॉ है। आई बिलीव इट इज अ लॉ, कोई स्टेट कर रहा है, विच इज ओकन्स लॉ। बाकी भी है, समथिंग सिमिलर रिलेटेड टर्म्स पे है, but you know this is definitive. They would describe the relationship के Phillips curve, so it is a relationship between x and y or something like that. Which of the following statements on Mintzberg's organizational type? This will cover in entrepreneurial organizations primarily focus on skill standardization. Professional organizations primarily focus on output. This we haven't studied right now, but let's see from the given option below. Which of the following statements on Mintzberg organizational type? सो इनोवेटिव सी, अभी मुझे इस थियरी के बारे में कुछ रिकॉल नहीं हो रहा है, बट आई नो दैट कि ये इनोवेटिव थियरी पूछा गया है, करेक्ट। और ये भी इनोवेटिव ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, इनोवेटिव ऑर्गेनाइजेशन प्राइमरीली फोकस ऑन म्यूचुअल एडजस्टमेंट, और इनोवेटिव ऑर्गेनाइजेशन डू नॉट फोकस ऑन म्यूचुअल एडजस्टमेंट। यू सी हाउ इजी दे मेक। अगर ये ऑप्शन ही नहीं देते, ई वाला सिर्फ ए बी सी डी में ऑप्शंस देते, इट वुड बी वेरी कंफ्यूजिंग। नाउ मैं यही से शुरू करूंगा। दे हैव गिवन मी द हिंट कि इनमें से एक होगा, या तो सी होगा या ई होगा। सी और ई साथ में नहीं हो सकते। इसमें सी और ई साथ में है, इसमें सी और ई साथ में है, इसमें या तो सी एंड डी आंसर है या ए बी ई आंसर है। यू सी। तो नाउ एक हिंट से मेरा, मुझे इतना पता लग गया, मुझे दूसरा बस एक हिंट चाहिए। नाउ आई विल इवेल्युएट। मुझे मालूम है सी और ई को करके फायदा नहीं, एक में सी आंसर, एक में ही। मैं डी को देखूंगा। मिशनरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस प्राइमरीली फोकस ऑन नॉर्म स्टैंडर्डाइजेशंस, कुड बी नॉट। Now A and B have to be definitely correct. Entrepreneurial organization focus on skill standardization. This I would say हो सकता है। Professional organization primarily focus on output standardization. I would say yes. Entrepreneurial organizations primarily focus on skills standardizations। स्किल्स आनी चाहिए। प्रोफेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन स्किल्स तुम्हारी लेस देखता है, उनको ज़्यादा आउटपुट से मतलब होता है तुम्हारे, क्योंकि दे आर लाइक हमारा क्लाइंट है, उसको ये काम चाहिए, क्या तुम ये काम कर सकते हो। तो आई वुड से इट मेक्स मोर सेंस। मिशनरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन प्राइमरली फोकस हो सकता है, बट आई डोंट नो, डोंट रिकॉल व्हाट मिशनरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज। आई वुड गो विथ ए बी एंड ए। और डेफिनेटली इनोवेटिव ऑर्गेनाइजेशन प्राइमरी म्यूचुअल एडजस्टमेंट नहीं, उनको ब्रेक थ्रू करने हैं या जो भी फाइंड कर। लेट्स सी, एंड वी आर रॉन्ग। सी एंड डी इज आंसर, सो we'll have to study this more. Mintzberg organizational type, again we got 7, so we'll see Mintzberg organizational type क्या आगे आएगा। हाँ, see it is under organization structure and design। Mintzberg organization हम अभी स्टडी करते हैं, ओके। बट हम ये भी लिखते हैं जस्ट फॉर ट्रैकिंग। क्विज डे 4 का क्विज 4 था, ओके। ओके, वी कॉपीड दिस फॉर 5 डे 5। ओके, अभी हमें 7 तक आ रहा है। सो या अभी हमारा टाइम हो गया है। वी हैव क्रॉस्ड ओवर 1 आवर। वी विल फिनिश दिस थियरी सो वी गेट मोर आइडिया, अंडरस्टैंडिंग, ओके, देन वी कैन क्लोज इट। Henry Mintzberg, a renowned Canadian scholar in management and organization theory, developed one of the most influential models of organization structure. In the landmark book, The Structuring of Organizations, 1979, he identified 5 core types of organization. Primary coordination mechanism by each defined by primary coordination mechanism, dominant part, typical structure. Mintzberg acknowledged two additional organizational, missionary and political. ओके, 1980s का ये स्ट्रक्चरिंग ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बाय हेनरी मिन्सबर्ग है। उसके अंदर उसने 5 टाइप के ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन डिस्क्राइब किया। 10 साल बाद 1990 में उसने और 2 भी ऐड किया। It is a practical way to understand how different organization functions evolve and align with the environment, making it a cornerstone of organizational design. Entrepreneurial organization, simple structure. This is the most basic form of organization structure, focused, found in startups or small business. The structure is flat with one central decision maker like the founder or owner who gives direction. Coordination mechanism, direct supervision. The top leader personally oversees it. क्या 3 पार्ट है? कोऑर्डिनेशन मैकेनिज्म क्या है, डोमिनेंट पार्ट क्या है, टिपिकल स्ट्रक्चर क्या है? टिपिकल स्ट्रक्चर सबसे सिंपल है, 1 पर्सन शिप, जैसा coordination mechanism, direct supervision है, dominant part क्या है, strategic apex. The focus is the top of manager is on the focus is on the top manager or founder. Fast decision making, adaptable, low bureaucracy. Weakness depends on one person, not suitable for large companies. Environment dynamic है and simple है. Decision needs to be made quickly without formal process. This is entrepreneurial. Machine bureaucracy, highly formalized and standardized, found in large mature organization. Standardization of work process prefer होता है machine bureaucracy में. Dominant part technostructure, experts and analysts design systems and procedures. Efficiency, consistency and predictability. The environment is stable and repetitive where uniformity is more important. Professional organizations, services, hospitals, universities, law firms are the environments where skilled professionals carry out work. Workers are trained to handle tasks independently, operating the professionals who deliver the service. Highly expertise, autonomy, professionalism. Harder to control, coordination across department may be weak. This is complex and requires independent judgment. Next, divisional organization. Common in large, diversified companies, this structure breaks the organization into semi-autonomous units, divisions, each responsible for its own products, customers, or regions. Okay. Innovative organization, adhocracy, also known as adhocracy, flexible, dynamic, designed for innovation and creativity. It's often used in R&D firms, tech startups, design consultancies. It's informal and project-based with fluid teams forming and disbanding as needed. People coordinate through communication and collaboration, not formal rules. Skill specialists working in teams derive the work. Missionary, it is driven by a strong sense of shared purpose of values. It is common in religious organizations, social movement, non-profits. Say, coordination mechanism, standardization of norms, shared values. Dominant part, ideology, unifying mission. Correct. Political organization, not formalized by Mint's work in early work, but later discussed. It is this isn't deliberately designed structured. Instead, it arises in an organization where power struggles, conflicting interests, and internal politics dominate decision making. It's often temporary or crisis. Conflict and negotiation, dominant power coalition can lead to dynamic changes. So we have studied this. We'll cover it again, and yeah. So that's all for today. We have completed day 5 of we have completed day 5 of the 60 day 60-minute challenge. Tomorrow will be day 6, and yeah, tomorrow we are going to be planning to cover decision making. The 7 topics should be enough one module, or we can try to push it for organization design and structure also, after which managerial economic foundations will start. And yeah, looking forward to finishing the syllabus in the 60. Although we are starting initially, it might be slow. Later on, we can increase the speed. Technically, there are 10 units. We have 60. We are going for to do 10 units, 60 days. So 6 days for each unit. So by tomorrow, we should have finished. But yeah, it's in the initial time. So initially, maybe it might take a long time, but we'll see where we are headed. So that will be all for today. Thank you. Any questions you have? You know the part in the comments below. And thank you for joining the day 5 of the 60 day 60-minute challenge, and I'll see you tomorrow in day 6.